So season 1 of The Penguin has ended, and we got a compelling portrayal of a true villain.
Mr. Oz Cobb is a cold-blooded killer. I'm still thinking about the scene where he killed Vic in the park.
Well, let's dive into that. It's a chilling scene because the motivation for Oz to kill Vic is clearly laid out and established. The scene has a strong arc, and it works as a conclusion to the Oz-Vic relationship throughout the series.
Yeah, I noticed that. That makes Oz a compelling character. Or what makes him a compelling character is just how the show builds these interesting relationships around him. There's Oz and his mom, Oz and Sophia Falcone, and Oz and Vic, of course.
And that makes this final Oz and Vic scene tragic. Right beforehand, we see Oz and Vic in the hospital with Oz's mom, who's comatose. Vic sees Oz in one of his most vulnerable moments as Oz begs his mom to tell him that she's proud of him. Obviously, she can't do that, and Oz is almost in tears as Vic places a hand on his boss's back to comfort him.
That was heartbreaking. It made Oz really human despite all of his twisted thinking.
So when we get into the final scene between Oz and Vic, I think Oz may not have planned at first to kill Vic. At the top of the scene, he's still reeling from the previous scene in the hospital, and he's wondering out loud about his mom and if she's proud of him. I think the turning point is when Vic comforts him and tells Oz that he's like family. The camera cuts to Oz's reaction, and we can see him processing that realization, and he shifts. This is likely when he realizes that Vic is becoming too close. Oz realizes that family is what makes you strong, but they also make you weak. He even says that in dialogue to Vic.
Honestly, I was crying when that happened. Vic was so happy to find family with Oz, especially because we know how Vic lost his family in the flood from the Riddler's bombs around Gotham.
Yeah, the way Oz reached over to pull Vic into a hug, and then he was basically saying goodbye to his mentee. He explicitly said to Vic that he couldn't take him along moving forward. I can see how Colin Farrell, the actor playing Oz, might even have used the dialogue about family being your weakness as a means to motivate Oz in a self-convincing way to kill Vic. Oz is still a human being, but he makes cold-blooded decisions to kill others when it is necessary to pursue his goals.
So you think Oz saw Vic as a possible weakness to his plan? Maybe that's what makes him ruthless as a villain. He's willing to kill off the one genuine relationship in his life to protect his power.
Yes, it's Oz making an immoral choice in that moment. We see him as a villain even if we empathize with him because he chose to kill Vic, who was basically in the wrong place at the wrong time. Vic didn't deserve to die. That's the advantage of having an 8-episode series where the filmmakers can thoroughly explore the psyche and the arc of a villainous character, which is harder to do in a 2-hour film.
It's also tragic, maybe even poetic, that Oz almost killed Vic earlier in one of the beginning episodes, right? But Vic talked Oz out of killing him by pleading his case.
And that makes this final scene with Vic even more memorable. Looking back at the entire season, there's so many moments that stick with you. Even the very last scene where Oz walks away from his comatose mom who lays in a bed in an apartment loft, and then he meets with and dances with his girlfriend who is dressed like his mom. It's a surreal moment that speaks to Oz's self-delusion, almost bending reality to his will in a way, while also showing the twisted nature of his relationship with his mom.
Their relationship was so strange to me, but I couldn't look away. Like, I see how she made him into what he is today, and how dependent he is on her approval.
If the show gets a second season, it will be interesting how they take Oz's journey further.
Rest in peace, Vic. You will not be forgotten.